5:30 a.m. November 12, 2010, high in the mountains of Afghanistan's Kunar province, Taliban fighters have opened fire from the cliffs above, trapping coalition forces deep inside a narrow valley. Every ridgeline seems alive with enemy gunfire. Helicopters are being called in, airstrikes are pounding the mountains above, and now Army Ranger sniper teams are moving into position to stop the Taliban fighters from overrunning the Americans below. The surviving American troops below later reported that the Ranger sniper teams were like angels of death, because from their position they could not see the Army Rangers. All they could see were dead Taliban fighters rolling down the mountainside. The mountains rose thousands of feet above the narrow valley floor. Jagged rock formations overlooked every trail, every village, every approach route. It was the perfect terrain for an ambush. Coalition forces had entered the region to strike Taliban strongholds that had long served as safe havens for insurgent fighters moving across the nearby border. The mission seemed straightforward on paper: move into the valley, clear enemy positions, destroy Taliban fighting networks, then withdraw. But the Taliban had spent years preparing for this moment. Fighters occupied caves, fighting positions, and hidden bunkers carved into the mountainsides. Machine guns were zeroed in on likely avenues of approach. Spotters watched from the peaks, waiting for American troops to enter the kill zone. As coalition forces advanced deeper into the valley, Ranger sniper teams moved onto the high ground. Their job was simple: find the enemy before the enemy found everyone else. For hours, the snipers scanned the mountains through their powerful optics. At first, nothing moved. Then one sniper spotted something unusual: a brief flash of sunlight reflecting from metal high on a ridgeline. A moment later, another flash appeared several hundred yards away. The Rangers had just spotted Taliban observers, and that meant the ambush was about to begin. The first shots came without warning. A burst of machine gun fire ripped across the valley floor, kicking up dirt and rock around the lead elements below. Then came another and another. Within seconds, the mountains erupted with gunfire. Taliban fighters hidden among the cliffs and boulders opened fire from multiple directions all at once. Tracer rounds streaked down the slopes while rifle fire echoed through the valley. The enemy had been waiting for them, and now the trap was closing in. American troops immediately dove for cover behind rocks and shallow depressions in the terrain. Radio traffic exploded as units began reporting contact from several positions at once. But the real problem wasn't the sheer number of the enemy's force, it was visibility. The Taliban weren't standing in the open. They were firing from concealed positions high above the valley, disappearing behind rocks long before the American troops could even identify where the shots were coming from. But the Ranger sniper teams on the high ground had a different view. From their elevated position, they could see movement the forces below couldn't. One sniper tracked a fighter sprinting between boulders nearly 1,000 yards away. Another identified a machine gun position firing down into the valley. The Rangers began relaying target locations over the radio: grid coordinates, distances, directions, anything that could help the troops below return fire. Then the snipers started engaging. Carefully controlled shots cracked across the mountainside. One enemy firing position went silent, then another. The Rangers weren't firing rapidly, they didn't need to. Every shot was deliberate, every shot was aimed at a fighter who was exposing himself for just a few seconds before trying to disappear back into cover. One by one, they dropped Taliban fighters, sending their bodies tumbling down the mountainside. If you want to see the uncensored footage from this video that was too graphic for YouTube, our Patreon page currently has a whopping 90% off sale, so now is the perfect time to join and access our full library of uncensored footage. But despite the Rangers' efforts, the Taliban kept pouring fire into the valley. More fighters appeared along the ridgelines. Some moved into new firing positions while others attempted to maneuver around the coalition forces to flank them. The battle was growing fast. Soon aircraft were being called in overhead. The sound of jet engines echoed through the mountains as coalition commanders realized this was no longer a small engagement. This was a major battle, and it was only going to get worse. As the Rangers scanned the ridge lines for new threats, one sniper spotted something that immediately changed the situation. A group of Taliban fighters were moving along a hidden trail high above the battlefield. They weren't heading toward the valley floor, they were moving to surround it. The enemy was trying to cut off the force below, and if they succeeded, dozens of Americans and Afghan troops could find themselves trapped in the mountains with hostile fighters closing in from all directions. The Rangers immediately transmitted the warning. Now the battle wasn't just about surviving the ambush, it was about stopping the encirclement before it was too late. The warning from the Rangers spread across the radio net quickly. Taliban fighters were maneuvering along the ridgelines. If they reached that destination, they could fire directly into coalition force from multiple directions and potentially cut off the only route out of the valley. Commanders knew they couldn't allow that to happen. The high ground had to be taken. Almost immediately, American and Afghan troops began pushing up the steep mountainside toward the enemy positions. It was absolutely brutal terrain. Loose rocks slid under their boots, sharp cliffs forced troops to climb hand over hand in some places. Every step uphill drained energy while the thin mountain air made breathing harder and harder. All the while, Taliban fighters continued firing on them from above. Machine guns rattled from hidden positions, rifle rounds snapped overhead, dust and fragments of rock exploded from the slopes as bullets struck around the advancing troops. The Rangers watched it all unfold through their optics. From their observation points, they could see enemy fighters attempting to reposition as coalition forces climbed toward them. The snipers immediately began directing fire onto the most dangerous positions. Several Taliban fighters were forced to abandon firing points and retreat behind the ridgeline. Others disappeared into caves and rock formations that had protected insurgents in these mountains for years. But the Taliban weren't retreating, they were just reinforcing. More fighters began appearing along the upper slopes. What had started as an ambush was turning into a sustained battle across multiple ridgelines. The mountains echoed with constant sound of gunfire, but then, just as coalition forces were nearing several key enemy positions, help arrived from above. Multiple American F-16 Fighting Falcons screamed overhead. Within moments, precision-guided bombs began striking Taliban positions identified by the troops on the ground. Massive explosions erupted across the mountainsides. Columns of dust and smoke climbed into the sky, and everyone in the valley below was showered with dust and debris. For a brief moment, the enemy fire began to weaken. Coalition troops seized the opportunity. They pushed harder up the slopes, closing the distance on positions that had been pouring fire into the valley for hours. The Rangers continued scanning for survivors and new threats. Then, one sniper spotted movement through the settling dust. Several Taliban fighters had somehow survived the strikes, and they were preparing for one final stand on a rocky ridgeline overlooking the entire battlefield. If that position remained in enemy hands, the fight could drag on for hours. The decision was made quickly. The Rangers and assault forces would move directly toward the ridgeline and finish the fight themselves. The most dangerous phase of codename Operation Bulldog Bite was about to begin. By now, the battle had been raging for hours. The valley below was scarred by explosions. Smoke drifted through the mountains, and the constant crack of gunfire echoed from ridge to ridge. But one problem still remained. A cluster of Taliban fighters still occupied a rocky ridgeline overlooking much of the battlefield. They had survived the airstrikes, they had survived repeated attacks, and they were still firing. As long as that position remained active, coalition forces moving through the valley would remain vulnerable. The order came down to take the ridgeline. American and Afghan troops began their final climb. The terrain was unforgiving. Large boulders and jagged rock formations created countless hiding places for defenders. Every few yards offered another place for a fighter to disappear and reappear somewhere else. The Rangers knew the enemy would fight hard here. This was their last major position, their last chance to hold the high ground. As the assault force climbed higher, Ranger sniper teams continued scanning ahead. One sniper spotted movement between two rock outcroppings. A Taliban fighter emerged briefly, weapon in hand, attempting to relocate to another firing firing position. The sniper dropped him immediately, and the Taliban fighter tumbled down the mountainside. Moments later, another enemy position was identified farther up the slope. Again, the Rangers directed fire and called out the target locations for the assault force below. Slowly but steadily, the coalition troops closed the distance. The Taliban responded with everything they had left. Machine guns opened up, rifle fire poured down the mountainside. Several fighters attempted to break contact and escape across the ridgeline, moving between rocks and shallow trenches that had been prepared long before the operation began. But there was nowhere left to go. Coalition forces were now attacking from multiple directions. Aircraft remained overhead, and the Rangers continued watching every avenue of escape. One by one, the enemy positions fell silent. Then finally, American and Afghan troops reached the crest of the ridgeline. The defenders who remained on top of the ridgeline either fled down the other side into the mountains or were gunned down where they stood by the advancing American force. For the first time all day, the gunfire began to fade. The high ground was secure. Operation Bulldog Bite had broken one of the Taliban's strongest positions in the region. But as the Rangers looked across the valley below, they could see just how intense the battle had been. The mountainsides were littered with destroyed firing positions, abandoned weapons, and the scars left by hours of combat. The fight was over, the mission was a success, but the men on that ridgeline knew they had just survived one of the most intense mountain battles of the war. As the sun began to set over Kunar province, a strange silence settled across the valley. The gunfire had stopped, the explosions were gone. For the first time all day, the mountains were quiet. American and Afghan troops stood atop the ridgelines they had fought so hard to capture, looking down over the battlefield that had nearly consumed them just hours earlier. The mission had been accomplished, the Taliban strongholds had been broken, the valley was no longer under enemy control. But victories like this are never measured by terrain alone, they are measured by the men who fought for it. Throughout Operation Bulldog Bite, American soldiers willingly climbed into some of the most dangerous terrain in Afghanistan. They advanced uphill against entrenched enemy fighters who held every advantage. They crossed exposed slopes under machine gun fire. They pushed forward when turning back would have been much easier. Again and again, they chose courage. The Ranger sniper teams who watched over the battlefield from the high ground helped identify threats before they could strike. Assault forces fought their way up the mountains that seemed impossible to climb. Air crews overhead answered call after call for support, placing themselves in harm's way to protect the troops on the ground. Every man and woman involved understood the risk, and yet every one of them continued the mission anyway. What stands out most about Operation Bulldog Bite isn't a single shot, a single explosion, or even a single act of heroism. It's the determination of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things for the men and women beside them. No one wanted to be a hero that day. They simply refused to abandon their brothers. In the harsh mountains of eastern Afghanistan, surrounded by enemy fighters and facing overwhelming odds, they demonstrated the qualities that have defined the American fighting spirit for generations: courage, discipline, sacrifice, and the unwavering commitment to one another. Many of the battles fought during the war in Afghanistan will eventually fade from public memory, but the actions of the men and women who fought them deserve to be remembered. Because freedom has always depended on individuals willing to stand in harm's way on behalf of others. And on that day in the mountains of Kunar, a group of American soldiers did exactly that. Their names may not all be known, their stories may never all be told, but their courage echoes far beyond those ridgelines. And for that, they have earned the gratitude and respect of a nation. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. John 15:13. And to every ranger, soldier, airman, and ally who fought in Operation Bulldog Bite, thank you for your service, we remember your sacrifice, and we honor your courage. If you made it to the end of this long-winded video, I want to leave you with one final thing. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life." Lord, I thank you for everyone watching this video, and I thank you for the honor and the privilege it is to share these incredible stories and operate this YouTube channel. God, I ask that you would bless bless everyone watching this video, Lord, that you would keep them safe and watch over them and their families. And God, I ask if they don't know you, Lord, that you would pull them close to you, Father, that you would invite them into your loving arms and show them just how faithful and good you are. Lord, that you would pull on their hearts and save them. And Father, for those watching this video who do know you, Lord, I ask that you would pour out your Spirit and your goodness on them, God, that you would bring them closer to you, Father, that you'd give them a hunger for more of you and more of your word. It's in your holy name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.